Hi everybody, this is Summer with Done Naturally, and today we have a Did You Know? We are talking about how much is a normal feeding volume for a baby. And this is in follow-up to my just prior video about normal pumping volumes. So, how much is the right amount to send with your baby when you are on a date, when you are out with friends, when you are separated because of work, when you are on a vacation? How much is the right amount to leave with them? Well, guess what? If you remember from my last video, normal pumping volumes are between 2 to 4 ounces. Guess what? So are feeding volumes. Somewhere between 2 to 4 ounces per feeding. So cool. So that doesn't apply to the beginning weeks when we have a very newborn with a tiny tummy and tiny volumes or what are appropriate, and their stomach slowly grows to that full volume. This is about when moms are returning back to work at, like, say 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 3 months. This stays the same at 6 months. This stays the same at 8, 9, and 10 months. Volume stays the same. If you refer back to my other video on uncovering myths about growth spurts and milk supply, you will remember that volume doesn't have to change. It doesn't continually increase because the insides of milk change. All the ratios of fats and sugars and proteins and minerals and vitamins and all those amazing things change to meet the new baby's needs, so that volume doesn't have to. Okay, so I want to give you a really easy thing to remember. When you're figuring out how much to leave for your baby, I want you to think about how many hours you're gone. So let's say you're gone 10 hours for, say, workday, including drive time. You're gone from baby for 10 hours. So an easy thing to remember about how much to send with them is 1 ounce for every hour that you're gone. So simple, 1 ounce for every hour. So that means for a 10-hour day separated, you're gonna leave how much? 10 ounces. Ta-da, so simple. Can it be 11 ounces? Sure. Can it be 9 ounces? Sure. And babies will make up for whatever they don't get during your separation when you get home. They're very good at that. So a great way to break that up would be maybe you're leaving 5 2-ounce bottles. Maybe you're leaving 3 3-ounce bottles and then 1 sneaky little 1-ounce bottle. That sneaky 1-ounce bottle can be incredibly helpful for you with work. Really, if you find out what time you're gonna be picking up the baby, let's say it's 5:30, then you really shouldn't have anybody feeding the baby after about 4 o'clock. Because when you pick them up, you wanna be so ready and the baby's so ready to breastfeed. The worst would be to pick up your baby and someone's like, oh, they're doing great, I just fed them. And they're like, totally tanked and full and totally not interested in breastfeeding. And then you bring home a sleepy tanked baby and you're sitting there pumping when you're home with your baby. So in that late afternoon time, that sneaky little 1-ounce bottle can be so helpful because it can carry them over. It's just like, it's not gonna tank them up. It's just a carryover, or even a pacifier. When you're at work or separated from your baby, that's a great use of a pacifier. They still need to comfort suckle. They need drinking time and they need comfort suckles. And when you're gone, that pacifier works for that. When you're home, we want them to drink and comfort suckle on you because that helps boost your hormones and keep your milk supply high. So that sneaky little 1 ounce can be really helpful. And if you remember 1 ounce a day, that's gonna help you a ton because many women can accidentally get into a place where they're overfeeding their baby. And what happens to our stomachs, even as adults and newborns and babies and toddlers, when you feed more, your stomach stretches. And then you can take more in, and then it stretches, and you can take more in. So if people are unintentionally overfeeding their baby, they might be giving them 5-ounce bottles, 6-ounce bottles, 7-ounce bottles, 8-ounce bottles, and they take it. Well, their stomach is stretching, leading to more obesity, more diabetes. No one wants that, obviously. But it's on accident. Maybe it's because the mom pumps and happens to get 8 ounces, and so she figures we should be feeding the baby 8 ounces. And over time, a lot of moms, when they get into that overfeeding, can feel like they can't keep up. And it's not that they're not keeping up, it's that they're overfeeding their baby. They're actually pumping normal amounts, but they've gotten into accidentally overfeeding. So, like an entire day's worth of milk of intake for a baby is about 24 to 28 ounces in a whole day. In a whole day. So that means if someone happens to send like 16 or 20 ounces while they're gone from work, that's way more than half of their entire day for just an 8 or a 10-hour period. If they're sending 4 4-ounce bottles, that's 16 ounces. If they're sending 4 5-ounce bottles, that's 20 ounces. And their entire daily intake in a short 8 to 10-hour period. And that will make them not want to nurse or anything during the evening when you're home with them. And you're certainly not going to be able to keep up with that with pumping. So if you can remember to keep the feeding volume to about 2 to 4 ounces per feeding, and if you can remember it's about an ounce per hour that you're gone, you are going to sail through returning to work. And then little tricks like pumping while you're driving to work, making sure you're pumping enough while you're at work, making sure they aren't feeding them after that like 4 o'clock hour, that late afternoon, or an hour and a half or so before you're about to go pick them up. That's important, and that will very much help you. So I hope that helps. It's really simple, and an ounce an hour is an easy thing to remember. And if you can remember that feeding volume should be 2 to 4 ounces per feeding, no matter how old they are and how big they get, it's still the same. And that your pumping volume is also the same. If you happen to be getting more than that when you pump, awesome, just store that milk. It doesn't need to be sent with baby. So hopefully that helps you guys have a successful separation from baby, as we all do and need. And that's it. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.